As you know, that schools do not teach people about money. They especially won't teach you about this building right in back of me. This building right here, if you know the name of it, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to see if you guys know money, all right? Now, this building right here is talked about in a great book called The Tower of Babel. And in this book, it talks about some things about history that no school will ever dare to teach you. Now, here's one of the things that it talked about. This building was used as a key channel for secret contacts between the Allies and Axis powers during World War II, and handled transactions for Nazi Germany, which caused significant controversy. This place right here in back of me is responsible for global CBDCs right here. This place right here is more powerful than the Federal Reserve, and the people that own this place, the families, are wealthier than you could ever imagine, more than the Forbes 100 richest people in the world. And they are the big club that you ain't in. So once again, leave your comment down below if you know what building that is. I've actually always wanted to see this building. It's not that significant like on the outside, but what goes inside there, what goes on inside there is very, very weird, all right? There's some bad stuff happening there. For sure, most people probably that work there are nice or whatever because they're compartmentalized, but the main actors in that building, ooh, you don't know what evil is. Okay, so moving on to Bitcoin here. We just had a $250 billion increase in the market cap of all crypto, okay? After Bitcoin just went to $94,400. It's slowly creeping up. And that is really bullish, especially when everybody else is interested in things like gold and silver making all-time highs. Because what is this? The majority of people, the masses, are all attracted to high prices. They're not attracted to lower prices or undervalued assets. They always chase high prices. I mean, it's a given at this point, all right? Now, moving on, we have the US federal debt is up to a record $38.5 trillion in 2025. It gets even worse here, all right? The national debt officially surged $2.3 trillion last year, equal to $6.3 billion per day that they're printing out of thin air, okay? At this pace, US total debt will rise to $40 trillion as early as August. Remember, like the last trillion they printed was printed within about 73 days. Keep in mind that the US first printed $1 trillion after 200 years. We're doing this in 73 days now. This is the end of an empire, guys. If you don't understand that, this is what currency collapse does. And that is why they're ushering in that central bank digital currency. Okay, so since 2020, US debt has skyrocketed by $15.5 trillion, posting a $2.6 trillion average annual increase. This means that the US federal debt now stands at $285,733 per household. The debt crisis is absolutely accelerating. You already know that, and that is why we're so bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin can't just be printed out of thin air, and there's only 21 million. Guys, if you're friends with these silver and gold people bugs out there, teach them this, because they don't understand that there's only 21 million Bitcoin out there. Like, I've got so many comments of people saying, no, there's not. It's not backed by anything. Can you teach them about math? And it cannot be counterfeited, okay? So that's the greatest thing. All right, now let's go on to US dollar. The US dollar is what everybody looks at. That's why people are interested in higher interest rates or lower interest rates, because it determines the value of the US dollar. Now, the US dollar finishes a year with a 9.37% decline. It's the worst year since 2017. The US dollar has not had back-to-back annual declines since 2006, 2007, which is the great financial crisis pretty much. Now, this is crazy. This is why your friends and family should really be focusing on Bitcoin and not anything else, okay? Here we go. The percentage of Americans who owned who are married and own a home at age 30. In the 1960s, it was 52%. 1970s, 48%. What happened in 1971? Nixon took the US off the gold standard, and the US dollar has decreased in value by about 99% since then. Okay, moving on to year 2000, 35%. 2010, 25%, and 2025, 12%. Why does this number keep decreasing? It's because inflation keeps increasing because the US is printing so much currency. These central banks are printing tons of currency, and most people are just caught blindsided. And you know what? Your friends and families, their salaries are never going to increase as much as inflation does, okay? That's why Bitcoin is so important. Lastly, we have Janet Yellen warning the $38 trillion national debt is nearing a red line economists have warned about for decades. Now, it's already crossed that line, people. I'm just letting you know it's absolutely already crossed that line. That is why we at learningcrypto.com have a free newsletter to help everyone out. And also we have a paid subscription as well. If you want to check that out, we share with you our insights on when we're buying, when we're selling, when we're going to be buying again. And during that last dip that we were on, we were buying small amounts of Bitcoin on the way down. Now it's back up. Hey, perfect. And you know what? When everybody is very bullish about something, like overly bullish, talked about everywhere on mainstream news, all over Twitter, all over YouTube, that is something to consider like stepping back from a little bit, like gold and silver. In the meantime, Bitcoin, people have just completely lost interest in Bitcoin, but guess who didn't lose interest? Central banks, BlackRock, and the big boys are definitely buying Bitcoin. So with that said, I will talk to you guys soon. Once again, tell me what that building is in back of me. Bye-bye.